I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Lowe's knows how to freshen up your yard, and it all starts with mulch. That's why we're introducing Mulch Week during SpringFest with can't-miss savings. Right now, get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for only $10. Plus, members earn 5 times the points on select mulch purchases all week long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/9. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 287 of The Outdoor Drive. This is your boy, East Coast Trev, and as always, the Madman. What's up, bro?
What up?
I guess I say the same thing. Do you think I should come up with a new intro?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? How would you do it, Steve?
I would probably be like, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive podcast. This is your boy, the Madman. And I'm joined by my good friend, East Coast Trev. What's up, buddy?
That would be the same thing as what I do, just reverse. Maybe like every other week. Should we just like reverse it every other week so that like you do one and I do
I don't know. It doesn't matter because like I don't think much people get past that. They probably turn it off because they're like, this is stupid.
Who are these two jabronis?
Or they probably just fast forward to the guests is what I would do.
I mean, that's what I would do unless you're like really cool and like you want to hang out with us. You know what I'm saying? Like those things do happen.
Yeah, new listeners are probably like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, who are these guys? And what are they doing with their lives? Yeah. Anyways, well, man. How are things?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. You know, just another day in the neighborhood. No.
I can't believe this is like 289 episodes and it's still awkward for the first 30 seconds.
It's not awkward. We make it awkward.
Make it awkward.
I think it's way cooler. I think it's way cooler to make people feel awkward. I
get nervous. Like you get like new guests on and you can tell they're like a little nervous. They've never done a podcast before. I don't get nervous to podcasts anymore. I did at one time. I don't anymore.
Right.
I just get nervous anticipating like what you are going to do to start the podcast because I know I'm just not ready for whatever weird shit you're going to do. And like I'm not prepared for it. Like sometimes I'm thinking it's gonna go like one way, and then you just like woo, you go the other way, and I'm like, what are we? What is it? What are we doing?
It's a story of my life, bro. It keeps people on their toes. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, what is this dude? What is wrong with him?
Yeah, twinkle toes.
I just never know where we're gonna go. And you know the craziest thing is like I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. I'm kind of a loser
anymore.
Yeah, anymore. Yeah. All right.
You're or right. Any less.
Any less. Yeah, that's right. Facts. All right. So, I guess it's that lull in the season, right? Like you're not really sure if you want to go and scout turkeys or you want to shed hunt. You're not really sure. You're scouting and doing the thing.
You know what? I think this is the best time to do. I was thinking about this on my way home from work. This is the best time to catch up on rest. Because the second that you release the turkey season, it is probably the most tired you will be the entire year. Like turkey tired is different than like deer rut tired. Deer rut tired, you're cold to the bones, you're worn out, you're a little sore, you're achy. But turkey season, dude, if you're getting after it and you're chasing them turkeys, dude, you're freaking exhausted.
Do you know what's wrong with it? Honestly, is that turkey season comes, right? You're scout. Turkey season comes, and you go and you hunt, and then, some states stop at noon, whatever, and then you kind of rest. But the problem is that you're out trying to roost or kind of find birds, scout until 8, 9 o'clock.
No,
then you sleep.
If you go out roosting, you're not home till 9:30.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then them turkey mornings are ridiculous. Like you start doing the math, you're like, well, if I got a half an hour drive and 20-minute walk and let's see, sunrise is this time.
They start gobbling at this time.
I gotta set my alarm for 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
To leave at 3, to be there for 3:30, to be in the woods for 4. Like, oh boy, and then do that day after day after day after. Like, there's turkey tired is a different kind of tired.
Well, the other thing too, in us living so close to other states, you can hunt on Sunday, so you red eye on Sundays. You think you got rest, but you don't. You red eye to the next state.
There's no rest during turkey season.
No rest
it's
at all.
Out. So I was thinking about, like, I ought to, like,
Take
at
some
least
naps.
spend like a week or so just trying to catch up and just refill the tank before I just absolutely deplete it to nothing.
We went down last night and we shot the guns. We put them on paper. We patterned them. Everything where it's supposed to be. And it was fun. It was nice to shoot a gun again and really pattern things in and make sure everything's right, locked, and loaded for what it needs to be for turkey season. The Saddies are flying.
I actually just got a package for Mr. Satterfield in the mail today.
Attaboy.
Replenished my supply.
Me too. And there was another package in the mail today.
Yeah.
A big package.
Small. Probably like, 4.25 inches?
Yeah, but a very big deal.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's probably one of the best calls I have in my vest. Not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
So the boys, Al and Riley, sent us a nice gift. As he had talked about on the podcast, he sent us a Outdoor Drive podcast head games from Team Enticer. And it is gorgeous. He killed it. Absolutely killed it. I know. Did you see I put that video to it?
No, you did?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it.
Oh, I put it on the story.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, head games,
Dude, you're smarter than I thought.
Hey.
Good idea. No, dude, super sweet call. It's got the rubber band on it and everything. I'm about to start working my fighting purr.
Yeah.
It's like me like Al.
Do you know the funny thing is? I only have 2 slots for 2 pot calls in my vest, and the only 2 that are going to be in there are Team Enticer.
Nice.
Because I have another one. I have the wet one. Hey.
Oh.
And the head games. So
sweet.
I appreciate you guys sending it out. If you guys haven't already, go and get a call from Team Enticer. Maybe you can get the Outdoor Drive one. What do you think the odds are on that? You think they'll do another one?
I bet you they would if you asked for it.
If you ask for it, you can get a Team Enticer.
It's got the logo already.
Outdoor Drive one. So we appreciate you all. Anything cool and exciting you want to talk about before I get into the good old...
No, man, you know what? One thing I do want to throw out there, it's probably about that time of year because I started doing it, and I talk about this probably twice a year that I think people overlook. And, like, now is a good time to think about some vehicle maintenance, preseason vehicle maintenance, because if you are like me, you are going to put 1,000,000 miles on your vehicle chasing turkeys. So whether it's tires or oil change or rotate the tires or, like, maybe your battery's on its last leg, like, take care of all that shit now. Like, I know I need new windshield wipers. Like, I want to take care of anything that can give me a problem in the middle of the season, because the last thing I want to do in the middle of the grind chasing turkeys is, having a vehicle problem. And nothing would piss me off more than waking up to go turkey hunt and my truck don't start because my battery's dead or something like that. So take the next couple of weeks before turkey season starts and take care of those vehicles, because you're gonna rely on them for a good month or so.
Yeah, especially if you're out scouting and making sure things are happening. You put some miles on them tires. So.
Oh, dude, like, I was thinking about it the other day. I kind of want to, like, keep a log
on mileage.
Like, anything I do for turkey, like whether it's roosting in the morning, roosting in the afternoon, or hunting or whatever. But, like, I kind of don't want to know.
I was gonna say,
I think I want to know what that number ends up.
Is it really worth knowing what that number is?
No, because it's a lot. It's excessive.
It's excessive.
So I don't think I really want to know.
You know what I'm really excited for as far as turkey season when it starts to come down the line is just some black rifle coffee and the burning of the old refuels. I mean, I cannot wait.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Black Rifle canned goods, dude.
Dude, I can't get that deal anymore.
I still have a case of vanillas.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't think they're any good.
They might. I don't think they were good when I got them because they were. I think they were like. I think they're already expired. That's why they're so cheap. But but they were.
Hey, maybe it wasn't the salad that day, Steve. Maybe it was the.
I think that was the year before though.
Yeah, maybe it was the Black Rifles.
No, I don't think we had Black Rifle that day. That was definitely a Wendy's salad.
Funny
But
enough.
no, I agree, man. Like I love just the load in the truck and just full send, dude. Just like pack the cooler, drinks, coffee, snacks, and like just go.
I can't wait to turn on the jet boil in the mountains somewhere, dude. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Let me let you know.
I'm ready to like not smoke a cigar with a dead turkey. I'm ready to like eat some chicken Alfredo sitting next to next to my turkey.
Stevie, let's go.
Up, bro.
I think that's it. That's definitely the Monarch. That's it. We're gonna do that. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, dude, like some biscuits and gravy with the turkey, man.
Maybe with old bus gobbler.
two jet fuels just burning. Oh, the best stuff.
Perfect for it, man. Like probably one of my best investments in the last. I don't know when I got it, a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, but like I love that little jet boil. And like once I got onto the peak refuels, like dude, they're so good. Like the calorie count's high, the protein's high, like it fills you up, it gives you the energy, the boost, and like they're lightweight. They're so fast.
That's sweet
and
pork, bro.
They're delicious, dude. The sweet pork and rice is unreal.
Ugh, it's heavenly.
Yeah, so
heavenly.
I'm looking forward to living off of those for
me too.
Extended period of time,
especially once we hit the road, man. And don't look back, Jack.
Playing head games,
dude. I'm pumped. I'm beside myself, man. I punched in a couple more days off, and I am ready to rock and roll, dude. When my boss looks at the schedule and sees I have every weekend from Easter weekend till God only knows when, he's gonna know what's up. So I think it's gonna be a good thing. Well, let's get through the sponsors, man. We got a pretty cool guests from the BHA AFI. It was pretty cool to talk to them boys and what they got going on over there. So let's go through the old sponsorship. Let's start off since it's...
Put your cheat sheet up, I see.
What's that?
You put your cheat sheet up?
Yeah, I put my cheat sheet up, so I have it here. But I'm going to start from the back, and I'm going to go to the front. First off, Sadie's Ammunition, LLC. If you guys are ready for turkey season, Sadie's is the way to go. Sadie's Fatties, the bread and butter. Check my man Aaron Satterfield out at Sadie's Ammunition, LLC, and get yourself some. We're getting down to the wire. The man is running out of loads, so make sure to hit him up. Fourth Arrow camera arms. We are blessed to use the tripods and the monopods. We're ready to put them and lock them and load them. So you guys go and check them out. Fourth Arrow camera arms. Bowtech refused.
Eric Nelson just got his new tripod today.
Yeah.
You sent a picture?
No, he actually FaceTimed me.
He loves to FaceTime.
Yeah, I know. I get like 45 FaceTimes a day from him, and I don't answer him.
Yeah, he loves the FaceTime.
He loves the FaceTime. He just wants to see. I think it's because he lives so north and has no friends to talk to or see. He just sees like.
He just wants to see another person.
He just wants to see another person.
Yeah.
I think it's really what
that
it
makes
is.
sense.
Bowtech refused to follow. As turkey season comes up, man, we're ready to let it eat. The new Virtue is out. There's a lot of new bows from Bowtech, so get on down to your bow shop. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive. Get yourself a free case. Anywhere across the country, tell them to get a hold of Caleb. He'll get you a free case, so use the promo code Outdoor Drive. Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast, WCB. Go on their website, use the promo code Outdoor Drive, get some of the merch. They got some cool turkey merch. I heard and saw a rumor that Kill Bottle just came out with a turkey version. So we might need to grab one of those.
I don't think that's a rumor.
No, well, it was a sneak peek. It's not in the market yet, but I'm hoping we can get some before some turkey camps. So
the last thing I need during turkey season.
So go and check out our boys at Working Class Bow Hunter. They're the ones that paved the road for us as the outdoor podcast. Latitude Outdoors. For you guys mobile hunting and wanting to mobile hunt, now is the season before turkey season and after turkey season to start to get into the saddle game. Carbon SS sticks, the backpacks, all the good stuff that they got over there. You can use the promo code Outdoor Drive there also and save yourself some. And then Huntworth gear as always. Some really cool stuff coming from them. They have a lightweight Camden, and then also the Durhams as always. Shelton hoodies. Some really cool early season stuff. So make sure to go check out huntworthgear.com. So we appreciate all of you. We thank you for taking the ride with us. If you guys are on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. I know we don't talk about that very much. Follow us on YouTube, because we have some really cool hunts coming up. I started to release a handful of them already, but as the season unveils, we might even drop some really cool hunts as we travel around. So we thank you all, and unless Stevie's got something, we're going to head on over and get the boys from BHA AFI on.
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Oh, man, nothing. Okay, bye-bye. The Outdoor Drive Podcast.
Please tell me you have a Cybertruck.
I'll be my next one. I'll get one next.
I want one real bad. I just want to hunt out of one and just have copious amounts of dead things hanging out of the back of the Cybertruck. I think there was a video. The guy was driving down the highway and he had that off bumper skinning machine that you put on the bumper, and it was a Cybertruck, and it literally had a deer hanging off the back of it driving down the highway on a Cybertruck.
That's a rich, that's a rich redneck for you.
Oh, that's what I need in my life. That's exactly what I need in my life. Well, boys, we are live on all platforms. We appreciate you guys jumping in with us. The boys from the New England BHA AFI. What's going on, guys?
Hey, thanks for having us. We're happy to be here and just have a good conversation and do some bullshitting.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. I know it's been a long time coming. You guys are doing some really good things here in New England, so we figured we'd spread the word and kind of pass it on. So why don't we start off? Why don't you tell them who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you guys do?
Sure. Cody, you want to kick it off?
Sure, I'll kick it off. I'm Cody Fanjami. I'm the Eastern Region manager for Backcountry Hunters and Anglers Armed Forces Initiative. Bit of a mouthful, but basically I'm lucky enough that I get to help coordinate the programs for basically the Minnesota, the chef's hat, all the way down over to New England now for the AFI. And what the AFI is we are the Armed Forces program of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. About 5 years ago, we looked at our membership and we realized a huge portion of our membership was active duty veterans and Gold Star families. So we do programming specifically made for the military community to get them involved in conservation through teaching them how to hunt, fish, and get involved and doing the dirty work of cleaning up our public lands and waters. So
that's awesome.
Raph.
Yeah, no, Rafael Vargas. I'm the vice chair on the AFI board. So all that means is I get to do a little bit of everything. I help out Cody whenever he needs it. I do a little bit of marketing, communications, treasury, so budget stuff. Pretty much work with BHA, who's headquartered in Montana, and just make sure the program is executed around the country. So yeah, out here in New England, we definitely have a pretty strong program. We've been in existence probably 2 years now, just over 2 years, I think, 3 years more. At least in New England, active in New England, right? So, the name of the game is just trying to take out the military community, Gold Star family members, veterans, outdoors, teaching them how to do it, safely, giving them enough knowledge to be able to go do it on their own. And, hopefully that leads to some, licenses bought, gear bought, stuff that all goes back to support conservation, but also helping our military community, get outdoors, enjoy the beautiful things we get to do outdoors, get some of those life experiences, those stories that I'm sure we're going to share here tonight, and just enjoy the camaraderie that sometimes, especially after military service, we tend to lose just based off of leaving that team aspect that we have in the military.
So what does BHA look like in New England for those that don't know? Like what exactly is it, and what does it look like for us here in New England?
Yeah, Raph, do you want me to take the first part here?
Yeah, sure, man.
So for folks who don't know what backcountry hunters and anglers is, about 20 years ago, a group of friends were around a campfire, and they kind of looked at it and saw that there was tons of organizations that supported like Trout Unlimited, Ducks Unlimited, Delta Waterfowl, the list goes on, the Mule Deer Foundation, who support conservation efforts for certain species. There's no one who advocates for our public lands and waters. So they form backcountry hunters and anglers with a goal to support like hunter recruitment, education, conservation, supporting bills, and doing cleanups and stuff like that. And like I mentioned in the opening, about 5 years ago, they pulled their membership in a large. There was a lot of military folks, and that's where they formed the AFI. What that looks like in New England is New England has a BHA. They have folks in each state that take part and policy. In Rhode Island, they're very involved in the public access to beaches issue. Connecticut just sent a letter out to try to get our Sunday hunting and our bear season, which I don't think we'll make it through the state house just because we're in Connecticut.
It flopped. It actually flopped this week. Yeah.
Did it flop?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get it like 1,000 years from now. But
I think I think on that subject. Sorry to cut you off, honestly, but I think it's a good subject to talk about, right? Because I don't think it's widely talked about enough, and I think that a lot of the fault to it, honestly, is us as hunters and fishermen, because we're not advocating for it. We all, and you can see it constantly. They're all like, "Well, what happened with the bear testimonials?" Well, did you send a testimonial in? Because if you didn't, then you're not going to help it out, right? And I think as the motion goes forward, we as the outdoorsmen and sportsmen, we need to be the forefront of it. And we're always waiting for somebody else to do it for us and then complain about it. But we're not going and going to the state house and making testimonials and doing that where the other side is. So, of course, we're not going to get it here because nobody wants to fight the fight. They just want the instant gratification of it happening. And
that brings up like a phenomenal point that, as AFI, we strive to get the military community outdoors, but that's kind of your first taste of being outdoors, right? Then, as soon as you start going back home and you enjoy hunting or fishing, you find your spot, you're going to realize that it's not being taken care of, whether it's trash, whether it's poor access, something, so you're going to probably go out and do something about it. Mm-hmm. And then the last part of that, as you progress in your evolution as a conservationist, is finally being able to speak out and go to the state house and be like, hey, bear hunting is important. It's important. It's an important tool of management for a species in a state that is very populated. And now there's a lot of human animal interactions that we don't want. We're not out there to, kill every single bear. Like that's so wrong. And it's the incorrect image that sometimes us as hunters get. But man, having seen this now for a few years with AFI, having military members get their first taste through our program, and now they're at their courthouse, they're at their state house, whatever it is, and they're speaking up. Man, that mission in conservation, and that's really the core of our mission, is what it's all about. And it's being able to give our military community that new mission after military service of being able to conserve our history, our legacy as hunters, fishermen, people that go outdoors and utilize, whether it's public lands or private lands, for hunting and fishing. So
does BHA as a whole, do they do a lot for the public lands here? Because I know that it's not like, out west it's totally different, right? Where it looks totally different. out west and you see all these national forests and all this other stuff, like what does it do, or what do you guys do as BHA for the public lands here in New England?
I don't want to speak over him, but okay, I'll take it. You know what? And that's the thing when we're talking about getting folks involved in volunteerism. It really comes down to like what the people are doing in each individual state and program. A great example is like the BHA New England works as like a state, and we can get you in touch with Mike Woods, who's the New England chair.
We've had Mike on. Yeah, we've had
okay,
Mike
you've
on.
had him. So
yeah,
you know
oh,
Mike.
Yeah, I know Mike.
So
yes.
like Mike's passion, like the passion, like they apply that pressure where they think, you know, are big issues. Great example, the issues of public access to all the Rhode Island beaches. They've been able to do stuff like that. And I could see something along the lines like if there was a major public lands driving issue, you know, they take notice of it. They did submit testimony to support both our Sunday hunting and the bear bill. So it's stuff like that. And if there's an issue, you know, and it's brought to the attention, people will come and help out with that. Specifically what we're doing with the AFI program in New England, which we work with, you know, less now because we're on the national board. I'm joking. We're with it every single day. I was just on the meeting with the guys last night. That team started about 3 years ago. And they do a lot of work of one, we've done some river cleanups. We've done a lot of just getting veterans connected and involved and teaching them how to recreate in this environment in New England. And now we've seen that, like Raph talks about really good, like the path of building a conservationist. Like, okay, cool, I've gone and hunted now I'm going to be involved in A, B, C, and D. And that's the big effect, is essentially we're training conservationists through the military. So like we're looking at members of the military who have really great skills. They're looking for a mission post-service or on their part-time, and that new mission is conservation, and that's what we're helping them develop, that skill set to apply to that mission.
Do you see in the AFI that like when, you know, post mission that they come home and obviously that whole PTSD or whatever, do you think that being part of something like the AFI really helps them kind of get back and get their feet back on the ground with some of the stuff they have to deal with?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I think that's, you know, conservation's great, but I'm really big on the community aspect. I think we build community and we build conservation. And the group of folks that we have just in New England are very tight knit. It feels like an extension of our family, and that's immensely benefit. There's a ton of science that backs the mental health benefit of getting veterans and active duty military outdoors. We have a mental health crisis across the military, no matter what branch. And one of the best ways to solve that is getting folks outdoors. The French did it after World War I. They would make their troops go fly fishing. It was a really successful program in the 1920s. Some of the Americans who were in occupation duty took part of it. That's one of the reasons you saw a big boom in fly fishing in the U.S. post-World War I. And then also the Comanche, really historically, like the Comanche, you know, these fearsome warriors, they would send their folks out on a war party, and they couldn't come back right away. They would have to do a period out in the wilderness before they could then reintegrate into society. So there's something going on, and it works. We've had up to 77 people reach out to our program nationally. The number's probably higher now. Like, these are people who have sent us a message saying, hey, I was on the path to make a poor decision in my mental health. And by coming to one of your camps or one of your events, now I found a passion or a community, and that gives me a reason not to do that thing. And those are just the folks that have said something. So we're seeing clear results, and it's, I think, been a benefit, something that's made all of our, so like I'm still active duty, Raf's in the reserves, like we still deal with the stresses of the job day to day, and just having that community to like fall on, that's not working with you every day, but they get it, is super beneficial.
Because you see a lot of like groups, nonprofits and stuff that are doing stuff for, you know, post deployment and stuff like that. But I think even more, I think like something like your group, the BHA, like getting those guys involved and just progressively doing it where it's not just an exploding point and then trying to save it. Like you're totally working them right into it from the start.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's been our mission since day one, is yes, we're gonna make sure you have a good time at our events. You're gonna learn a lot, but the focus is just you learning and gaining those like basic skills to be able to go back home, do it on your own, right? You feel comfortable enough to go hit the woods, go hit your local creek, basic equipment. Like you have the knowledge when you leave our camps to go do that. And then, as I said, next step would be coming back and cleaning or speaking up for those places that we enjoy, you know. The one thing I did want to say is about the community aspect about our events is, you know, Cody and I probably would have never met. We live in Connecticut, but we would have never met in the military channels, right? He's Air Force. I'm Navy. He's enlisted. I was an officer. Like our paths just, right? He's a cop. I'm a submariner. Like our paths should never have crossed. And so these events, excuse me, bring a bunch of us together from all different communities, branches of military service with vastly different experiences. And, you know, Cody and I, we speak every other day, maybe every day now. Like we've become best friends.
Life
Right?
partners. You guys are life partners.
Life
Yes.
partners. Yeah. Cody likes to tell everyone that.
But there's a serious fact to it. Like,
Yeah.
you build these bonds. Like, I've gone through some serious things in life, and Raf's been checked in on me every single day. You know, we build those relationships within our families itself. And also, like, it's cool to just call up a buddy and, like, kind of vent to him about what's going on at work. You know, I was having some issues at work, and I was like, I got to get, like, Raf's perspective. Pick up the phone call, and that's across the board. You know, some of our guys, like Nate Camp's another one. Like we have a lot of great guys within our team and nationally, and a lot of that started at our duck camp that we first did 3 years ago. And that's like the nucleus of our program here in New England.
I was going to ask, like, what does your camp look like, and how do you get guys involved, right? Like, do you just reach out to guys and be like, hey, come to our duck camp? Or they kind of want to know what the AFI is, and then you invite them? Or how does that work?
There is a lot of word of mouth and people spreading the word, you know, at their commands or through friends and whatnot. I would say that is a good portion of the new attendees at our events, and this goes nationwide. But you know, we do have a website. We do post the events that we are going to host across the country online. So anyone can technically apply to those. Anyone can sign up, try to attend. Some of our camps get limited based off of, you know, we try to maintain typically a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 like mentor to mentee ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, just providing that experience, that knowledge transfer as best as we can. But most of our camps, so I'll say what we call dual skills camps. Those are where we impart knowledge in something specific, right? So we have some turkey seasons coming up. We have turkey camps that are going to be occurring across the country, from California, Idaho, you know, up here in New England. We're going to have camps all over the country. Now, with that being said, we'll have AFI mentors who at least have a few years of turkey hunting knowledge. We'll get together. We'll probably do it. We try to do it over weekends just so we don't impact anyone's work or military service, whatever is going on. And we'll go from day one. Hey, we'll meet up Friday night, for example. Hey, we're going to go here. We're going to show you the area. We're going to show you what we're looking for, what we did to scout that area. And then Saturday morning, we're going to hit it, you know, bright and early. We're going to set up. We're going to talk through everything. Hey, this is why I'm setting up a decoy. Hey, here's why I'm not setting up a decoy. You know, here's what is important about camouflage with turkey hunting. Here's what to avoid, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So they get that knowledge of how to do it. And it's good enough for them to, you know, hopefully be able to go out that season and go do it themselves. So, you know, we do that. We offer food, and then we just when we get back to camp. So turkey hunting, you know, like usually some people like to say that, you know, the lunchtime can be pretty killer. So I like to stay out there, but for, a new hunter, sometimes you take a break, go to get lunch, whatnot. So during that downtime, we go ahead and teach a few classes. So we'll teach about, hey, here are the different species across the U.S. of turkeys that we have, Osceolas, Easterns, Merriams, the Rios, etc. We'll go over a little bit of basic biology. Once again, giving them that information for them to be able to go back and do it on their own. The last part of that is, why is your hunting license that you just bought to go turkey hunting, why is that important? How is that impacting the state of Connecticut? How is that impacting federal lands that we may be hunting? Whatever the case might be, we try to tie it all back so that they can see the benefits of us paying a little bit of money to buy ammo, to buy a gun, to buy a bow, whatever the case might be, and a hunting license to go out there and enjoy nature. So that's kind of basic outline of a dual skills camp. But once again, end game is they leave and they can go do it that Monday. They have the day off. They can go back out hunting. They kind of have some spots because we do have to take them somewhere. So that ends up happening.
That's a scary part.
Yeah, that can be a scary part, right? But once again, if we're doing it on public lands, yeah, it sucks. Maybe you have your little honey hole and whatnot, but it's still like, more money going into the system to support conservation is better for all of us. So I'll finish with a great example from our duck camp this January.
I want to hear about the duck camp because that's like your guys' claim to fame. So like that's something you guys have continually done.
We can talk duck camp from the first one all the way to this most recent.
I want to hear about it and what the difference is from the first time that you started. But go ahead, Rafa. Sorry to cut you off.
No, man. So a quick story from this year, which kind of proves my point, is we had one participant never been duck hunting before. We
feel like that this year.
Yeah, we had quite a few like that this year. Never went duck hunting. He came out. We gave him a basic like gear list before the camp. He bought a few things, came out. Because we were in Rhode Island, most of everything we were doing was on a small boat, but we did show like some walk-in spots. Guess what? Dude walked away from that weekend. He had a few days off, went back out that week and shot his first black duck, shot his first Canadian, because he had shot a few mallards and divers that weekend. And he got a few first birds on his own based off of what he had learned that weekend. And man, us getting that text message, that just makes all the work that goes into it, that, it just makes it worth it. So, but if you want to hear duck camp stories, I'll turn it over to Cody for year one. So,
yeah. So, duck camp. So how year one came about is there was a few folks from the national board Andy, who was our treasurer at the time, was living out here, and he realized we should have a camp out here to try to recruit some leadership to build the New England AFI. So they had the duck camp. It was in Newburyport, Massachusetts, up there. Great spot. That Great Marsh is one of the largest marshes that's in it's as close to its natural state as it can be on the eastern seaboard. So it's an awesome habitat. You get everything from Canadians to black ducks to, old squaw, all the divers, all the sea options. We could see some eiders the first year. We just couldn't get to them with the boats we had. But, just an awesome place to learn how to hunt on that marsh. Tons of different hunting, from A-frames to layout blinds to out of the boat to just hunkering down in the drainage as the tide. And we're talking 6-7 foot tidal swings too. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And the cool thing about that camp is everybody who's there was brand new to AFI for the most part. I had been involved a little bit when AFI started, but life got busy, so I came back in. And Raph and I just got randomly paired together as the two guys from Connecticut. And we got to drive there and from every day. We had a great time. It was a great camp. We formed the New England AFI out of that, and we got the full team still of everybody who signed on at that weekend. So it was a great camp. Some of us came out of that making sizable purchases. Raph, do you want to tell them about the purchases you made after that camp?
No. Yes. No. No, this goes back to proving my point, right? Like, for me, I have to start with a little history here because I'm originally from Florida. I've been up here in Connecticut now for, oh God, I don't even know, like 15 years probably from military service. And, I did a short amount of time out in California. Never, ever have I waterfowl hunted until I got out to California. While I was out there, a buddy of mine, he was like, dude, have you ever duck hunted? Because he knew I was a hunter. I did deer hunting out there, pig hunting, pretty much everything except duck hunting. And he's like, have you ever been? I was like, no, I've never given it a shot. He was like, okay, here's some basic stuff. Go get it. Let me know. We're going to go hunt the Pacific Flyway. I was like, the what? I was like, the Pacific Flyway. I'm like, oh, there's flyways? Cool, man. Talk to me about it when we go hunting. So he took me out hunting, showed me the ropes. And dude, I was hooked, right? When you go out to the Pacific and you shoot these massive pintails, like, oh my God. Like that just leaves you like wanting to go out there more and more. Like out here on the Atlantic, man, if you can get a pintail, great. Like that's a trophy, but the size difference, holy crap. We're talking it's a totally different bird out there. But anyways, I was hooked. So I came back to the Atlantic or came back to Connecticut, and then first year duck camp happens. And I was just like, man, I've duck hunted. I hunted 2 seasons out there. I was like, I hunted a little bit. I know enough, but I've never done it on the East Coast. No idea how different it is. Is it very similar? Like, what is it all about here on the coast, especially on we're talking Newburyport, Mass, Marsh, totally different ball game than the Central Plain or the Central Valley of California. So learned all about it, and then kind of got rehooked on it. So when I was leaving camp, I was like, you know what? We have very similar setups here in Connecticut. Like the marsh isn't as marshy, but I need to get back into duck hunting because it just kind of rekindled that fire for waterfowl hunting. So when I got back, started looking for a boat, and I was like, man, I'm gonna find a boat. I'm gonna get one. Started looking. I don't know, maybe a few weeks later, found one down in Delaware. Dropped a few grand, drove down, picked it up, and yeah, I still have that boat. It's been serving me well. Done 2 more duck camps out of it. But dude, yeah. So that's one purchase. We had another dude, Kevin, who did the same thing after that camp. Unfortunately, he had like a superstorm or something up in Mass that knocked down a massive tree in his backyard, just split the boat in half.
Didn't even get to use it.
Yeah, he didn't get to use it. He had been working on it, but I know he's been talking to me about getting a new one here shortly. But yeah, purchases like that happen every single year, whether it's, new waders, a new shotgun, because, hey, my pump action is not great. My Mossberg 500 isn't great for duck hunting. Boats. I think we might still hold just 2 people who got boats after a camp. Maybe we're up to 3. But
people have definitely bought shotguns. But after the 3rd year, one of the things these camps are good for is helping us find leadership for our organization. Mm-hmm. So after this 3rd duck camp, we were able to get a leader for Rhode Island and a new leader for Massachusetts. And Mike, who's our leader in Massachusetts now, he loved it, got hooked, had a great time, and then went out and bought the brand new Weatherby shotgun. He's like, I need a waterfowl shotgun. But yeah, so the first year the camp came and went, we were now in charge of New England and left to our own devices, and they said, do the camp again. So Raph and I planned with our boys a pretty damn good camp. We get out there. We're up to 20 people at this camp. So it's a big deal. You got walking groups, you got boats, you got to feed people. So Nate Camp, who you've met Nate, I think, right? Yeah, Nate comes out. He's our chef. He cooks for these 20 people the 3 days. Like it's a big thing to plan, but it's 100% worth it because once you plan that and you get everybody in the room, everyone's having a good time. They're learning. So we decided the last day of duck camp last year to just do me, Raph, and our buddy Kevin, the three amigos, if you will. Raph, I gotta preface the story. Raph is a naval trained submariner. Like he can drive a boat. Like he went to the Naval Academy. Like he knows a thing or two about boats. So
at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, get deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Now's the best time to get that Hyundai you've always wanted. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's best warranty and 3 years or 36,000 miles of limited complimentary maintenance. Don't think you can get away with all that? Think again. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. It's a great day for a new Hyundai.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Business taxes. Was stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on turbotax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service.
We find this great set of marsh. We set up. We think we're gonna hit it. We really didn't get anything that day. Our buddy Kevin went and out here in these marshes out in Newburyport. They used to farm in them, so they would dig these huge trenches to control water. There's a ton of great conservation projects trying to fill those up, but they form like these pockets, and basically you can take a step and be on solid ground, and the next step you're going in like almost 6, 7, 8 feet. It can suck you in if you're not close enough. So our buddy Kev, who's a big dude, he's like, what's Kev, like 6'5"?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's setting geese decoys in one of these salt ponds, and he hits a patch and goes in. And he's being held up by these two floaters. Like, so we have to run around to the boat, get the oar, like grab them, pull them in, and then we decide to, hunt for the rest of the day. Kev's wet. We decide to call it. The sun's going down. We get to where Raph parked the boat, and the boat's in the middle of sand. There's no water. And it's getting dark quick. Kev's, we're all tired. And so, we got stuck. We had to wait like almost, 2 hours for the time to come in?
Almost 3 hours.
It was almost 3 hours. So everyone's back at the Airbnb, nice and cozy, eating a delicious hot meal for camp. And here we are, like pitch blackout in Newburyport, like bumping back in the boat. And it was a great time. We've told that story a ton now. We love that story. And honestly, I think that's what these camps come down to. It's not about how many ducks you shoot. It's about like the really good memories you make with, some really awesome people. The SS Minnow has served us well. It served us well this year. It's a great ship, and Raph's a capable captain.
Yeah, I learned my lesson pretty quick. 9-foot, 10-foot tidal swings. They're no joke, man. So, no joke.
We get them in the mouth of Connecticut. I have a similar story. We were in there duck hunting, and same thing happens, and next thing you know, you're completely dried. We didn't realize that the cove literally lost all of its water, and we are in the middle of the cove, and there is no water, and now we have to wait 4 hours for the swing to come back in. It was on a moon tide, and that's the good thing about waterfowl hunting in salt marshes.
Yeah. Yeah, we got super lucky. We got to hunt Massachusetts for 2 years. And then this past winter waterfowl season, we ended up moving to Rhode Island, based off of some of the gun
shotgun ban.
Yeah, the shotgun ban or the semi-auto ban. in Massachusetts. We ended up moving the event to Rhode Island.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that was the reason for moving, because
Yeah.
that's a huge effect on a lot of people actually that come from out
Yeah.
of state.
Yeah, that hurt us a little bit. You know, Newburyport holds a very special place for us with the team, just because that's where we started. That's where most of us met. We learned a lot of lessons up there, right? There's probably a ton more stories that we could share of people either falling into pockets or just how to hunt. Man, we learned so much up there. So it was a little bit.
It was sad.
It was
can
difficult to
imagine.
move. But luckily, Mike Woods being in Rhode Island, he was a phenomenal resource to help us out, do a lot of scouting. I mean, he's a huge duck hunter himself. But he helped us out a ton, getting the local contacts. We got a federal game warden to come out and talk to us, how to manage interactions with game wardens.
Oh, wow.
We had, I think, Rhode Island's director of education in the outdoor space. He also came out and gave us, a little bit of waterfowl 101. Fielded questions from the participants on, basic setups and what should I prioritize getting when I leave camp. Should I go get decoys, or should I get waders, or should I get the Sitka, or should I wait for first light? Different things like that. So it was great. So
That's huge, though, to have those type of people that go there, especially for the newer guys that like to really answer questions, right? Because there is so many laws, like Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Like Massachusetts, you have to be 500 feet from occupied dwelling. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different laws. So to have somebody like that to answer all those questions and be part in what you got going on, that's huge. I mean, that makes or breaks it for a lot of people. There's no questions to it. It's kind of like we were talking before, me and Steve, about like saddle hunting, and there's a lot to like take in and a lot of questions, but you have to be able to ask somebody. So something like your camp, I mean, it's hands on and really get people up and running. Do they do it on the regular BHA side, or is it only the AFI?
You want to take it?
Yeah, I mean they do, across the country, each region, each state focuses on slightly different items, just based off of how active their board is, their state board is, how many volunteers they have. I think one of the regions where we have a lot of conservation issues that need to be addressed is the Southeast. And the Southeast, no one really knows about BHA. There are pockets of people that know about BHA and what we do. And I think as an organization, they're trying to change that, because BHA has had a little bit of a, identity of just being Western focused. And it's not true, right? Like we have, Cody talked a lot about the work we've done, or Mike has done in Rhode Island with beach access, but as a one BHA, we partake in different projects across New England. I'll just focus on New England, right? We do a moose study, or really an ungulate study up in New Hampshire with the University of New Hampshire. We do work with Army Corps of Engineers on different projects that we can help out with and support them. We do. There's been a lot in the policy realm, there's been a lot of talk for wildlife crossings. Like, someone who has been out west, that's a big deal out there, right? But guess what? We have a massive population here on the East Coast, and that is now finally getting talked about more, especially in states like New York, I think Virginia, Maryland, Vermont. There's still these spots on the East Coast that are still fairly wild, and being able to not only protect, people who are driving, not, collide with a moose or a deer late at night, like that's kind of big. And once again,
what do you mean by that? Like go into that as far as the crossings aspect. It's like when I think of it as elk or whatever, but like what is that here?
So here, like I'll focus on New York because I know New York has focused a lot on that. It's, wildlife crossings, there are differences that or different lessons that we've taken away from the West, right? Cody and I were just in Wyoming this past fall, and we were talking to one of their biologists, and we were talking about the wildlife crossings because we wanted to bring some of that knowledge back to the work that's being done out here on the East Coast. But one of the things that I personally took away was when you talk about the different species that use these wildlife crossings, your deer and your elk are okay with something that is under the highway. So it's a tunnel. Your pronghorn are not. They hate it and will not use it. It is all about their instincts of being able to see any predators on the other side. So for wildlife crossings that are focused on antelope or pronghorn, they have to be above the road. So that way they can see for a very long distance. I was like, wow, I would have never thought of that. But all the game cameras or the game trail cameras that they have and all the evidence, there's no denying it. That is what's happening. So when we bring that information back and all the work that's been going into New York, it comes down to, there is deer populations that, are booming as hunter numbers decline, as, we're not potentially seeing some impacts of CWD, right? Once again, too much of a population can lead to bad things. But really wildlife crossings in New York, just once again, we're trying to make sure that we can manage the interaction of wildlife and humans and trying to prevent those serious accidents, because I know here in Connecticut, we have accidents all the time based off of deer during the rut. They're doing their natural thing. So wildlife crossings just hopefully probably not prevent, but they minimize those number of collisions. And hopefully it prevents a death of someone that just,
they will learn eventually. And that's what we've seen out west is even with great examples, mule deer are not traditionally a herd animal like elk or pronghorn are in these pockets, especially in their off season, they'll run individually. And eventually they figure, they're not dumb animals. They figure it out pretty well. So it will be efficient. Another area we're really active, we've been becoming more active, is an East Coast issue is our striper population. We've done a lot of, doing that on the unsexy work of sending letters to Council B, sending, stuff like that, because, there's very few things as New England as our fishery. And that's where I think BHA is trying to repivot, is be like, everywhere is wildland. And to us in New England, part of that is our oceans. We have one of the best fisheries in the world. And it's a huge part of our culture. So we're trying to I love going after stripers. So it's something that we want to be that we're actively involved in for generations to come.
So what is BHA doing on that striper side? Are they advocating for the because I know where we stand today is the no mortality on striped bass. So are they for that, or are they against that? Where does BHA stand?
I won't say exactly where we stand. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
What I can talk to is some of the work that we have done
to
support research on mortality rates with stripers, whether types of hooks, how long they're out of the water, how long people are, taking pictures and stuff.
More current research on it, because I know they're a lot of their basis that they're using to try and stop the mortality of stripers has been a lot of past history that is now concluded to what they're trying to do nowadays.
Yeah, so I know we're involved in Massachusetts, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler alert, but I know Meat Eater, Ryan Callahan, he was just up in Massachusetts this past season, and they focused that entire season to the striper population and all the research that's going into it. So I know BHA has been supporting the state of Massachusetts and the research that they've been conducting in recent years to identify how the mortality rate of stripers can be minimized. So a lot of that comes down to people that fish stripers reporting the information that the state is asking for, and some of that new data that's hopefully feeding the policymakers on what changes need to be occurring.
It's good to hear that there's other groups that are behind it, because I feel as if, like, I think that some of the lawmakers and the biologists aren't really sitting in the same seat, and having that conversation. And I think, across the board, right? That's the same with turkey hunters. That's the same with deer hunters. That's the same with a lot of it. But one of the things that they're trying to do right now, and they've been trying to do, is for us here in Connecticut, is close the striped bass fishery. Like, literally no catch and release, no taking of, like, that's huge. And one of the problems that I foresee in that is that there's a lot of people, myself included, or were included in this. That's what I did for a living. But seeing the writing on the wall, I knew it was time to make the switch for a reason, because it's coming down the pipe where they're going to close it some way, somehow. They're going to close that striped bass season. I don't. It's tough, but I know it's a bold statement.
Connecticut has a legislator. So before I joined the service, I worked in politics.
Yeah,
and Connecticut has a legislator that will eventually trend in that fashion. It's unfortunately the matter of it. If you look at the electorate in Connecticut and how they vote on how the legislator votes. Historically speaking, on conservation issues, they tend not to vote with the conservation mindset. They vote with the mindset of not under. And I think this is a bigger issue. Going back to our conversation about the bear issue, there's a lack of understanding of the North American conservation model, which, for folks who aren't very familiar, this has been the guidelines we've run our entire ecology here in the U.S. on since it became a big thing in the 1900s with Theodore Roosevelt and John Muir supporting that. It's worked. It has worked time and time again. They argue now there's more white-tailed deer than there was when the Pilgrims arrived on the Cape. We've seen huge recoveries in elk and bison populations using the North American conservation model. So and it's been replicated across the world with some great success in Africa. So to go not be fully vested on why it's important for us to be pursuing something, whether that be the bear hunt, whether that be, I know right now they're trying to get a longer deer season on Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard because it's something ridiculous. Like, the square mileage of deer on Nantucket is like you can walk outside your house and pet one. So they're trying to, but it's boomed the tick population in both of those places because there's so many of them. I know there's a bill right now in upstate Vermont to try add something like 150 moose permits because of the tick population exploding. And those are all how conservation, like our North American model, works to maintain that balance. Yes, it'll never be like it was, pre-Columbian, when, the Europeans arrived here. But we can do a happy medium. I just find it by myself ironic that a state, like you said, that will go so hard against the striped bass fishery, and like you said, go there, is also a state that would be okay with windmills. But we'll go. That's a whole nother episode.
I mean, it's sad because we all feel so strongly about all of these things, right? Like they're for one, but not the other. But I think that, and that's the politics aspect of it. So there's something else that's underlying, right? And we could, that goes into that for why they do such a thing. But I guess my question is, like, how can the everyday hunter get more involved to be able to state their opinion, and where are they missing out?
Yeah, so I would say the key pieces there.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so the key pieces there, I would say, participating in state-sponsored programs that provide information to the biologists of what we're seeing as hunters, right? There's only limited number of, game wardens. There's a limited number of biologists in each state. When states have these programs to where we can feed information to them, man, we have to participate. Two, I would say, is keeping people informed. I think a very important part of what all of us do as people that recreate outdoors is teaching people that come and ask us questions, giving them the correct impression of what we're doing and why we do it, right? Whether it is for subsistence and for you to feed your family, or if it's just a hobby because it's it's a stress reliever or whatever the case might be. It's giving the correct impression so that person, when hopefully we here on the East Coast or in New England, we never get to this, but like issues that the states of Colorado or Washington are having with ballot biology, right? Hopefully we never get to that, but if that comes our way,
and
we
will
have people that are informed correctly, right? And it's because of the interactions that they have with us when we're recreating outdoors, and they see, oh yeah, I remember that guy who talked to me about hunting and why it was important, right? And we give the correct impression to these people who are sitting on the fence, right? You have the spectrum of people that are very opposed. So that's kind of your 10%, probably 15% at one side. Then you have your diehard, hunters, like hunting rights for everyone. It's, it's a right and blah, 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 craziness on the other side. But then the majority of us are there in the middle where we're moderates. And so convincing the people that are tending to lean towards anti-hunting, anti-fishing, anti-recreating outdoors, we want to swing those people and show them, hey, this is a good thing. The North American model of conservation is a beautiful thing, and we have to keep that around, especially as our population continues to grow in the United States, New England especially, right? We have to maintain those principles in order to manage the populations of wildlife so we can see them for generations to come, but also to protect us a little bit. And once again, go back to wildlife crossings. There are things that we just need to do in order to protect not only the game species, but to protect the lives of human beings.
Raf, you brought up a really good point, and something that we don't really talk about enough, and that is those surveys, them stupid surveys that the state sends out. Yeah, we think it's stupid, but for taking 3 minutes to fill that out, that's how they're getting their information from each and every one of us. Like we just delete it off of our email or whatever, or most people probably do. But to take that's probably the foremost connection between the sportsmen and those that are making laws and biology.
A good example of that is we've seen in Connecticut, at least, that eastern section of the state where our goose season's been going a little later. And that is based off data they've received from a lot of those, like people saying like, hey, I'm still seeing them in sizable numbers and they're still doing some, damage to folks' property. And that information helped the state biologists go, we can pull the season into a little longer into February here,
And hopefully that's the next thing that comes along with turkey season. So if guys are filling that out and kind of going down that path of not having 5 turkeys in a turkey season,
right.
They
need to do some of the turkeys.
If you think about it, though, it's kind of funny because in one sense, right, we're asking for a bear season or a longer goose season. Like we want more, except turkey, take turkey away. So it's like, well, what the hell do you want? You want more or less, right? So, but the big thing is like you mentioned, like the biologists can say one thing, and most of the time it seems like the biologists are on our side. Like the biologists are seeing the same things that we're seeing. The hunters are seeing it, the biologists are seeing it. We fill out our surveys, but it breaks down with the legislators, right? Like even DEP can agree, but the DEP enforces the law; they don't write the law. So, like last week with the hearings, I sat upstairs and watched it on YouTube for like 4 hours and listened to everybody like give statements and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Legislators are just going to do what they want to do anyways.
Yeah, and a bigger conversation here. A lot of these state legislators are elected by very small numbers,
Hmm.
very, very small numbers. And that's historic of state legislations. The only time state legislators ever see like legitimate numbers is during a presidential election. So if someone was really passionate about, like, I'm lucky my state rep, Donna Veach, she was one of the people who pushed the bear bill. Well, she's a good state rep. And before I lived in Southington, I lived in Ellington, where we had a really great state rep within Chris Davis. But now everyone's got that. So, like, if you're a hunter in a district where your state rep is not voting how you see, you need to take part. And that's the gift of what is the American process. I guarantee you, like, if you went out there and you know enough people in your town, you can probably unseat that state rep because they're elected by sometimes less than 1,000 votes in a non-presidential cycle. Let that sink in. There are people in the state legislature right now who could be have elected by who could have been only in office because only 20 people didn't voted for them over the other guy. And that's you getting 20 of your friends who hunt or fish to go out and vote that's in your town, or getting your fishing game club to get out there, or just having. I had a conversation with somebody on my street a few weeks ago walking my dog about why bear season is important. And they had no concept of the North American conservation model. But when you explain it, they're like, oh, that makes sense to me. So if you really want to see that change, get involved in your electoral process. And it's pretty easy to run for state house. You can get I think it's 35 signatures. It's something very little to run for state house or the state senate.
Cody for president.
So
I'll vote for you, Cody.
yeah, I got 13 years to retirement, and then I promise you, boys, I will be on that ballot. But
oh, you can't do it while you're active, right?
No, it's not. And that's something that's unique about, if you're talking the policy, as active duty, we try not to get involved politically because our job is to serve the public no matter what, who's the commander in chief. But this is an issue that, conservation is an issue that affects everyone. It tends to be a very bipartisan issue, though. Like if we look historically across America, up until the past 10 or 15 years, this is a very bipartisan issue. I mean, you look at the Congressional Sportsman Fund, it's pretty bipartisan. I think one of the Delaware senators and then one of the senators from Idaho, the co-chairs. So complete opposite side of the spectrum, but they all enjoy a certain aspect of recreation. And that's why you see a lot of bills in the federal government usually make it through that are pro public lands. But I digress. But yeah, in Connecticut specifically, if you want to see that policy change, you got to get involved in the electoral process. It doesn't take much in our state because people don't really vote in Connecticut in huge numbers.
No, and they don't care about that voting. They only care about the primaries. That's the only time they're really voting.
If you could mobilize, the folks who hunt and fish, or give a damn about their environment really in your area, you could maybe put a legislator into power who could go and affect that change. It's something to consider. Very targeted,
No, I agree. I think, and it's not. It doesn't seem if it's that far fetched. The good thing, we have a really good one here, in my area. We have Tim Ackert, and he's fire.
Great.
He's fire when it comes to that. He comes to the local game dinner. Talk about an advocate for what you're. You know what I'm saying? What you're looking for. Super good in that. So, no, I think it's been a ball of information for a lot of people to be able to move out. And if they are in the area and they are in the armed forces, how do they get a hold and kind of be part of what you got going on?
Yeah, so we got a few ways. One, you can go on Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, the website, and see the Armed Forces Initiative. You can get an Armed Forces membership as well to BHA. But our social is let me do this right. I always mess up one portion of it. All right. It's BHA _ New England _ AFI. That's where we are on social media. And then what folks can do is they can go on our website and see all the types of our events. That's how our duck camp was advertised. I know going into the summer here, we're going to have some Nate Camp's going to be doing some fly fishing, Tenkara fly fishing events here in Connecticut. I know Hot Tom Belfast, who's our New England coordinator. That is his name, Hot Tom, if you ever meet him. And he's going to do a striper event up there in Plum Island in the Newburyport area. So us returning to an area that, is near and dear to the organization. And then as we get into the fall, we'll get into our busy season, some events up in Maine. And then, of course, we'll have duck camp again next year. So if folks want to get involved, get on that website. They can reach out to Raf and I as well. We'll more than be glad to get you hooked up and, coming out to an event. It's much more than just events. It's a really great community. And then through that, you get to meet people like you. You get to meet people like Max at Urban. You get to meet all sorts of folks who just give you more to go with. So.
Yeah, the last thing I'll throw in there is we typically host Trevor, where we coordinated all this. We host pint nights. So we go to breweries across the country, and it's low barrier to entry. You just come on out. Doesn't matter if you're a BHA AFI member or not. Come on out, talk to a few people, maybe make a new friends, a new hunting buddy, a new fishing buddy. And ideally, we'll talk about what we have going on and, maybe some issues or whatnot. And yeah, that's kind of our social events that we do host. And I know we're going to have a few here in New England for the rest of the year, but yeah, hoping people join us and come see what we have to offer. And
they're not horrible. Let me let you know right now. They're not horrible at all. I try
It's
to go to
a good
all
time.
the pint nights. It's local to me, right? And it's the brewery I hang out in anyways, and Max does a really good job down there. So
yeah,
it's been kind of cool.
Yeah, Max has been an awesome supporter, and we can't thank him enough. Urban Lodge is it has become Connecticut AFI's like home for our pint nights, and yeah, can't thank Max enough. But yeah, just come out to a pint night. Super easy. If not, hopefully we'll see people at some of our events.
Well, you guys didn't get off that easy. We also want to know what drives you guys outdoors.
Oh, Raph, you want to go first?
Yeah, no, I'll go. So for me, it's always been about being able to recenter and kind of let things that are impacting me I kind of realize how not important certain things are, or how I can manage, lets me think clearly. And I'll use a specific example, right? Like one of my operational tours here in Connecticut on a sub, a fairly stressful job. There are times I would go up to the Farmington River and just go fly fishing. Because of my job, people were calling me all the time on my cell phone. There are certain pockets on the Farmy. There's no cell service. So that alone would let me just kind of recenter, think of all the things I have going on, kind of reprioritize, just relax. And then just hearing that river flow and maybe, catching a trout or two, it makes it all worth it. And that's, for me, it's always been about stress relieving, recentering, making sure that my life priorities are in order and not missing out on the important things of life. And, that's what the outdoors have meant to me.
That was great, Raph. Gold star.
Thank you.
That's why you're his life partner. No.
But seriously though, before I get into the drive, it's really cool how you get to meet these people. And that's the coolest thing, no matter whether they don't have to be in the service, but there's something different between your friends and your hunting friends. And that's something definitely great about what we do. But I think, I was a later hunter. I didn't come from a hunting or fishing family. I had always really loved reading about wild places, like Lewis and Clark and Teddy Roosevelt there doing the badass stuff he did. And that just kind of drew me to it. And still to this day, from the first time I went out there, I didn't think it was going to be as important to me, but it's just very much like what Raph said. It's the thing that recenters and just helps provide me that mental clarity. So I can be good at my job and I can be good at being a good husband to my wife because my brain's clear. I get that reset. And I get to, while doing all of that, you get the added bonus of getting to experience just remarkable things. Like even sitting in your tree stand in Coventry, seeing some woodpeckers come in, they're really close to you and watching them do. You don't get those experiences anywhere else. or watching the sun set out in Wyoming. You're just never going to see that anywhere else. So that's the added bonus, is getting to experience just the beauty of this natural world that we have been so lucky to be given, and it's our duty to get out there and protect it.
No better words have been spoken. Cody, that's why you are for president. I'm telling you right now, whenever you're ready, buddy. No, just
yeah, maybe governor. No, I'm joking.
All right, governor. There we go. No.
Can't be that hard to beat in Vermont.
Yeah. That's not the truth. We appreciate you guys jumping on. Thank you very much. We really support the fact of what you guys got going on, and especially with the AFI side of it and BHA and all that stuff. And anything that we can do for you, please feel free to reach out. And, until the next pint night, we appreciate it. And for everybody else, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.